We have all sorts of dangers such as nuclear war, biological war, chemical war, destruction of nature. The greater power we have, the greater we need coherence. The question to my mind is the human being capable of dealing with this situation, which he himself has produced?
A losing strategy is when we are so self-righteous about our positions that we're talking down to them, or our general attitude is, we're going to convince you about how wrong you are. I have not seen that work yet.
That means that people have to participate, to make a cooperative effort, to have a dialogue, a real dialogue in which we will not merely exchange opinions, but actually listen deeply to the views of other people without resistance.
My advice to young people who want to get involved, I would rather see you out there talking to people, including people who you disagree with. If you genuinely want to change this, then you've got to figure out how to speak to somebody on the other side and listen to them and understand what they are talking about and not dismiss it.
Please welcome the Director of Lucerne Dialogue, Dr. Dominik.
Guten Abend, sehr geehrte Damen und Herren, und herzlich willkommen zu dieser Premiere von Lucerne Dialogue. Lucerne Dialogue hat den Anspruch, dass wir eine europäische Konferenz werden, und bereits dieses Jahr stammen viele Teilnehmende aus der Romandie, aber eben auch 20% aus ganz Europa. Erlauben Sie darum, dass ich meine kurze Begrüßungsrede in einem einfachen Englisch fortzusetzen versuche. Dark. Dark are the topics that currently move us. Average temperatures in 2023 have so far been 1.4 degrees above pre-industrial levels. This year will probably be the warmest year since records began. War has been raging not only in Ukraine for almost 2 years, but since the terrorist attacks on Israel, there is also a threat of widespread conflict in the Middle East. We all have to recognize something is brewing. The horizon is darkening, and it definitely could get worse, even for us in the very heart of Europe. But what exactly is Europe? It's definitely more than the EU with its 27 members. Of course, Great Britain and Switzerland, as well as numerous other countries, are also part of it. But which ones? Former US Secretary of State Madeleine Albright once said, quote, "To understand Europe, you need to be a genius or French," unquote. Well, maybe there might be a third option: to pause, to consider Europe beyond the hysteria of the daily news flow, from a certain distance, from where you see things more clearly, for example, from Lucerne. So what is it we see when we look at Europe? A still wealthy, culturally fascinating continent that is seriously committed to ecological sustainability. A region where democracy and the rule of law are almost universally upheld, and a European Union that, unlike any other state in the world, has made substantial progress in digital human rights. But we also see, and have to see, a continent that is struggling to develop an awareness of the new realities and what needs to be done now. It is therefore all the more important, especially for us in Switzerland, to wake up and join other Europeans in the face of a fragmented world, and to commit to a stronger Europe before it's too late. Strengthening Europe from within Switzerland. This is the motto of Lucerne Dialogue. Ladies and gentlemen, in today's world, There is no shortage of controversies, and some people wish for confrontations here on our stages too. At the conference, I personally do not believe in confrontations. I believe in the creative power of dialogue. This does not mean that we should sugarcoat everything. Actually, quite the contrary. The commitment to dialogue. With the commitment to dialogue, we must, of course, address and discuss controversial topics here in Lucerne. And all our speakers, all of them, have been briefed accordingly. The speakers, you and I, we all now need to ask the right and the most difficult questions. Lucerne Dialogue is dedicated to these questions and aims to contribute seriously to their answers. What if Europe had to take care of its own security? Are we in Europe even remotely prepared for a second term of Donald Trump? What if we stopped using the excuse that Europe is too powerless to really play a role on a global level? What if Switzerland stopped the excuse that it's too small to take responsibility and leadership for a stronger Europe? What if we all did not succumb to the illusion that a European Green Deal would enable us to live within planetary boundaries and without massive dependency, mainly from China? Ladies and gentlemen, we can only find answers to these questions all together. This means 600 current and future decision makers, the majority coming from business, but also from politics, academia, and civil society. From almost every European country, 1/3 women. More than half of the participants are below the age of 45. This young generation in Switzerland and in Europe rightly wants new answers to those tough questions. So we take the much invoked intergenerational dialogue seriously by giving the younger generation a voice. They will share their thoughts, their expectations, and their perspectives on the situation in Europe with us. Some people may ask, is that enough? For 3 reasons, I think we will achieve a great deal on this platform. First, since Tuesday, 45 young individuals under the age of 45 have been working in a hackathon on the question of how we can enhance participation in Western democracies. They will present their ideas and projects to us tomorrow. You, esteemed guests, are welcome to invest in those projects financially, but also with your time and your experience and your network. This promises to be a hopeful project with a very concrete output for those who always ask for concrete outputs. Second, for us older individuals and all the silverbacks, the engagement with the future leaders and tomorrow's customers and employees acts as a kind of an early detection system. It promises impulses and personal growth in relevant topics. This is your individual added value. And third, and this seems to me the very most important, energy flows where attention goes. Energy flows where attention goes. Many of last year's participants told me how the speeches then held by Christian Wolff, the Millennials, or Timothy Garton-Ash, for example, made them aware of what is now at stake in Europe. And this is exactly the mindset change we intend to happen right here, right today. So may our participation during these 2 days inspire us all to do the right thing. If we, who all hold very influential positions, live up to our responsibility, raise our voice and use the resources available to us, yes, we can contribute to positive change and we shall contribute to a stronger Europe. Yes, we can. Ladies and gentlemen, the Swiss author Arnold Kübler wrote in 1944, Lucerne is the place where the calm waters of Lake Lucerne begin to flow, where they break out and rush in haste through the old town and out into the hill country. May our annual meeting here in Lucerne create a movement that powerfully spreads through the Old Town out into Switzerland and all across Europe. I wish you 2 unforgettable days right here, right now, on the still calm shores of Lake Lucerne.